Have you ever heard the expression, date the rate and marry the house? If you have, I'm going to unpack that and show you a proper way to purchase a house and effectively lower your monthly payment and long-term costs. Hi, this is Todd Baker, and this is Own Smarter with Todd Baker. Let's just delve right in. I want to show you first historical interest rates. So let's put interest rates in a historical perspective. This is a 55-year average. You can see rates have been way above 5 starting back in the early 70s. They spiked up during the inflationary period of the 80s, took a long step down to the 90s, stayed in like that mid 7% range. And then after the housing crisis, the Federal Reserve intervention, it was housing crisis here, COVID here, you see unusually low rates. I'm not going to get into what the Federal Reserve did. It wasn't them lowering their rates. They were buying mortgage-backed securities. So they artificially lowered the rates that way. But once inflation kicked in and they weren't able to do that anymore, rates shot back up. So right now, for many homeowners, you're comparing your 3% rate to the average of 6.625. But what you really need to be looking at, the long-term historical average is 7.67, and we are a full 1% below that. So if you're in a house and need to do a move-up buy, the proper structure of the loan is how you get there. You have equity you can use to purchase. And if you're a first-time home buyer, don't expect rates to come back. They're not. Let me show you, let me unpack this a little bit further and give you an effective strategy. Okay, so here's the new normal. Rates are range bound. So the old myth, marry the house, date the rate, did not work. Everything was assumed that rates would come back down and buyers were put into short-term payment plans where you had a reduced payment on a way higher interest rate, hoping that the interest rates would come down. And so let me explain what I did during this whole time. I did 2 and 3 1 buy downs like everybody else, but I always paid discount points to lower the rate. I always made sure my clients had the lowest possible final rate on those plans. And we're not even really, pretty much no one's doing the 2 1 buy downs anymore. That's a topic for a different video. The reality of it is that the ability to pay discount points can drive your current rate down. So let's look at where rates are currently range bound at. They're range bound between the 5s and 6s. Right now they're in the upper 6s. And so that's the right expectation. So if you're a first-time home buyer, should you wait to buy? No. This is a myth. They're not coming back here. You want to enter the market now. Let me explain something to you. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or an existing homeowner looking to either move up or downsize, or you need to relocate, you don't time the market. Historically, the data shows scientifically, when you buy a piece of real estate, if you hold 5 years, you will always make money. 5-year rule is what's key. So let's explain how this discounts work. So mortgages, unlike any other kind of financing product, have the ability to pay your interest up front or pay some up front in exchange for a lower rate. It's called a discount point. It's defined as prepaid interest by the IRS. So in this example, paid an extra $4,000 up front, saved $125 a month, breaking even in 32 months. And on top of that, it's probably even better than that. That's a simple formula. There's a deeper formula where the lower rate also pays much more towards principal, building equity faster. So what ends up happening is there's 5 key questions when you're doing proper loan structuring that very few consumers ever actually answer, because you answer the first one. What's a comfortable payment? What's your total cash to close? But then you got to go deeper. Do you have emergency reserves? Should we use every penny we have to buy the house, or should we be smart and save some money just in case life throws us a curveball and we need a backup plan? What's the 3 to 5 year risk profile? Very few lenders will ever show you this, and that means a cost analysis over 5 years to make sure you're getting the right loan structure on a cost basis. And lastly, what's your future plans for the property? Once those questions are answered, I develop a home strategy for my clients. And then right now, we look at buyer cash versus seller credit. These are the 2 ways to buy a house. So that means, one, you just put your own money down and you pay your own closing costs. But the traditional approach, if there's a seller concession, let me explain that really quickly. Right now, in the marketplace, homes are selling for about 95.6% of their list price. That doesn't mean you might find a house that has multiple offers and you have to pay full price. But 80% of them are going to go lower. And there's 2 ways to use that concession. So let's show you the example. So let's just assume there's a $10,000 price cut. It'll reduce your payment by only $60 a month only. It drains your savings if you want to buy points, and it has a weak financial impact relative to the loan balance. So this is a weak way of doing it. The better way, a strategic pro move, that is getting a seller concession. We take the seller concession, we pay all the discount points to lower your rate. You get to deduct them if you itemize those on your taxes. You just pay your down payment and your normal closing costs, and you end up with a significantly better payment and a lower cost structure over 5 years, short term, and way lower over the long term, both in cost and in equity into the property. So you don't want to do this. You don't want to do the generic rate quote. Okay, what happens is generic rate quote focuses just on the interest rate. What's your interest rate today? Okay, strategy. Own smarter strategy. Balances rate, discount points, seller credit, emergency liquidity, and a 5-year plan. This is what I do. Very few lenders do it. I will build you a home strategy that puts us into a plan that takes all that into account and gets you the right mortgage. So don't ask, what rate can I get? Ask instead, which loan structure puts me in the strongest financial position? If you're one of my clients, you already know how this works. This is how I set up. I do detailed home strategy and mortgage planning. If you're a real estate agent looking to watch this video, or if you are a brand new client, someone that I haven't worked with before, and you're looking to buy a house, whether it's first-time home buyer, or you're doing a move up or a move down. The two biggest categories are first-time and move up. But if you're in any sphere of buying a house, I'm an expert at building home strategies that create wealth and the best cost. Give me a call. It's how you make a right decision and how you will protect, build, and grow your wealth with real estate. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a great day.